Today we're going to begin working on lesson 1-4, in which we will be adding and subtracting fractions that have unlike denominators. As you remember, with adding and subtracting fractions, you must have a common denominator. Once you have a common denominator, you will then perform the operation at hand. So in this case, we have 4/5 and we have 1/6. We need to find a common denominator, which in this case, our common denominator would be 30. So to change 4/5 to 30, you remember that you're doing 5 times 6. So if I multiply 5 times 6, I also multiply the 4 times 6, which changes it to 24. The addition stays as the addition, and my second denominator will also be 30. In this case, we had to multiply the 6 by 5 to get 30, so I have to multiply 1 by 5, which gives me 5. After I have common denominators, I add the numerators together. So the numerators are our top numbers. 24 plus 5 gives me 29. Denominator stays the same. The last thing I do is I ask myself, is my fraction in lowest terms, and can it be changed to a mixed number if possible? If either of those things can happen, then you must do that. If not, then you know your answer is in lowest terms. In this case, this one is in lowest terms. Our second example, 2/7 plus 1/4, our common denominator would be 28. The 7 had to get multiplied by 4, so I also have to multiply the numerator by 4, which means that's 8. Addition stays as addition. The second fraction, 4, had to get multiplied by 7 to become 28, and then the 1 also has to get multiplied by 7. Once I have that intact, I can now add my numerators. 7 plus 8 gives me 15. The denominator stays the same. So 15/28 is in lowest terms. It is not an improper fraction, so I know my answer is valid as 15/28. Whenever you have a mixed number, you want to start off by just adding the whole numbers together. So think of this problem as 2 plus 1 plus 2/3 plus 1/6. We're going to focus just on adding the fraction part. Our common denominator would be 6, so 2/3 becomes 4/6. The 1/6 already has a denominator as 1/6, so it stays. And then we still have the plus 1 and the plus 2 out in front. 4/6 plus 1/6 is 5/6, and 2 plus 1 is 3. The 5/6 is proper, and it is in lowest terms, so I know my answer is complete at 3 and 5/6. This next example, my common denominator between 7 and 10 would be 70. So to make 4/7 a common denominator of 70, I have to multiply it by 10, which means the 4 also gets multiplied by 10, so that becomes 40. I have to multiply the 3/10, both of those, the numerator and denominator, by 7, so this becomes 70, and 3 times 7 gives me 21. I'm going to add my numerators together, and I have 61 over 70. That is in lowest terms. It is proper. And then I also need to add my whole numbers. 3 plus 5 is 8. So I have an answer of 8 and 61/70. Go ahead and pause here. Try working out both of these. And then we'll come back, and as soon as you finish, after you've paused it and you've finished working out the problems, hit play again and go through them to see if you completed the problems correctly. So now that you've finished the problems, we're going to look at 2/7 and 1/2. Our common denominator would be 14. So 7 times 2 is 14. Also multiply the numerator of 2 times 2, which gives you 4. 1/2 changed to a denominator of 14. The 2 is multiplied by 7, so the 1 gets multiplied by 7, and we have 7/14. Add the two numerators together, and you get 11/14. And then at the end, don't forget to add your two whole numbers together. 5 plus 1 is 6. Is your answer in lowest terms as a mixed number? Yes, it should be. Your next one, your common denominator is 9. So 2/3 can get changed to 9 by multiplying the 3 by 9 and the 3 by 3 and the 2 by 3, which makes it 6/9. So now go ahead and add your fraction piece together. 4/9 and 6/9 is 10/9. You may know that this is not proper, so we need to change it to a mixed number, which is 1 and 1/9. Now that you have that, don't forget to go back over and add in the whole numbers to your answer of 1 and 1/9. 6 plus 3 is 9, so we have 9 here, but you also have to add it to the whole number 1, so our total would be 10 and 1/9. The next part is subtraction. Same idea here. You have to have a common denominator. So when I'm subtracting 1/4 from 5/7, my common denominator would be 28. Change both of those fractions to a denominator of 28. First one gets multiplied by 4, so the 5 becomes 20 because I also multiply that by 4. The 4 to become a 28 was multiplied by 7. So 1 times 7 is 7. Now that you have a common denominator, subtract the numerator. So 20 minus 7 is 13. Keep the denominator and make sure that your answer is in lowest terms. In this case, it is. 7/8 minus 2/4, common denominator is 8. So the 2/4 gets changed to 4/8. I multiplied both the numerator and denominator by 2. 7 minus 4 is 3. Denominator stays the same. That is in lowest terms. So you know your answer of 3/8 is complete. 9/10 minus 3/5. Common denominator is 10, so this is going to change to 6/10. 9 minus 6 is 3/10. Answer is in lowest terms. We're good. When I have a mixed number, I still have to have a common denominator. So my common denominator here would be 15. The 3 got multiplied by 5, so I have to do 2 times 5, which gives me 10/15. So 2/3 and 10/15 are equivalent fractions. 2/5, to get that to a 15, I'm multiplying both the numerator and the denominator by 3, so this becomes 6/15. You still have the whole number. So subtract 10 minus 6 is 4. Denominator stays as 4/15. The whole number, I have 3 minus nothing for a whole number in this second fraction. So 3 minus 0 is 3. Answers in lowest terms as a mixed number, 3 and 4/15. Go ahead and pause here. Try these two on your own. Common denominator for the first one is 88. So 11 times 8 gives me 88. 7 times 8 gives me 56. I still have the whole number of 7. I need 88 on this one, so I'm multiplying the 8 by 11. So 3 times 11 is 33. 56 minus 33 is 23. So we have 23 over 88. I have 7 minus no whole number there, so it stays as a 7. Is this in lowest terms? Yes. So you're finished. Last one, common denominator is 45. 5 times 9, so 4 times 9 is 36. Second one is going to change to a 45 as well by multiplying by 5. 4 times 5 is 20. 36 minus 20 is 16. So we have 16 45ths. Don't forget the 1. This is in lowest terms, so you know you are finished. Always ask yourself if it's in those terms.